Obviously, there's a lot that's gone into winning 2 straight games. And defense has 9 takeaways. Offensive line is playing better. But how do you look at Tommy's role in the last 2 wins? What has he brought?
Yeah, he made good decisions. Our thing is a quarterback is make good decision, lead the team down to score points, and he's done those 2 things. He's done a good job of it, and going to continue to do a good job of it.
Where did you gain confidence in Tommy over this process?
Yeah, I think really, looking back on it, just with Tommy's growth and development, when he came back in training camp, you could see that he took the things from OTAs, carried them over there, and that was encouraging. And then when he went out and played well in the preseason, those things obviously start to give you confidence, because that's the first time you really get to see those guys against live competition in a real game. So he went out there, did well. That starts to give you confidence there. That's where I think, the first step is seeing them against another team. And then really once he, was put into the position he was in, just every day, growing a little bit, seeing different things. He does a great job of learning from a new thing he might see or something that he hadn't seen before.
With Tommy as a starter, I guess how much input did you have in that decision and kind of making your case for him versus Tyrod?
Yeah, I'd say we all talk. Obviously as the quarterback coach, you give your input and everything like that, and then Dave goes and makes the final decision, and whatever he says we ride with.
What gives you confidence for Tommy versus Tyrod, like an experienced veteran like him?
Yeah, I just think, Tommy's done a good job the last 2 weeks of doing the things that we said, leading the team down to score points, making good decisions. So him just continuing to do that.
What have you seen from him?
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's working really hard in practice. You've seen him really lock in, and his production has been through the roof for us. Just really solid, and then getting the ball the other day was big. Starting to find the ball, which is something he did, early in his career, and starting to do that again. And I expected him to continue to play that way just because of how hard he's working and how important it is to him.
You've coached a lot of players. You've been a player in this league. Do you think anything off-field comes into what he's doing on-field? Like maybe slow start, it's his contract year, maybe now he senses I gotta put my best film together here at the end. Like, do you think any of that plays into it?
I think for me it's more ebbs and flows of seasons, and just knowing that I just gotta do the same things and be consistent. And sometimes the ball doesn't come my way, or I'm not in position to make the plays. But I just got to keep digging and fighting and trying to put myself in the best position and giving myself the best chance to be ready to go when the ball comes my way or when I get an opportunity to make a play. I think he's doing an excellent job of that. I think, he did an excellent job of it earlier in the season, just ebbs and flows. Wasn't coming his way, but now it is, and I just want to see him continue to capitalize on it.
How interchangeable are him and Pinnock in what they do from
Extremely.
play? Yeah, and is that a little rare? I mean, I feel like maybe this is the Madden player in me when I was a kid, but I feel like free safety and strong safety usually have a little bit more set designations than they do between, I don't know if it's this defense or those 2 players specifically.
Yeah, a lot of it is how Wink designs the defense and what he wants from secondary players, but when you got 2 guys like he and J. Penn who are interchangeable, who both have range, both can go get the ball, both willing tacklers and show up and good blitzers, and it's really puts us in a really good position to do a lot of really cool things in the back end, because we don't have one guy that always has to be the down guy. Yeah. We don't have a guy he's always the blitzer, so if he ever gets close to the line of scrimmage, it's coming. Having those interchangeable pieces helps, and then the system helps as well.
One of the things that Wink was talking about the other day was he said that he was talking about everybody's playing well lately, and he said, and Xavier's really picked it up. I mean, the last 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, what has happened with him?
The one thing you see is he's really locked in right now. his film study. Like, he asks really good questions in the meetings. I think he's working really hard, and not to say he wasn't earlier. And I think some of it ebbs and flows of a season. I like early in the year, not making as many plays as you want, but just continue to work hard, trust the process, show up every day, and it'll eventually turn, and it's turned for him. And he's starting to make a lot of plays and be extremely productive for us. And not that he wasn't working out that way. But playing really well.
Yeah, because there's some stat I saw saying if he gets 10 tackles, he'd be the first guy since 2005 to do it something like 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I didn't read that. Don't know what that stat is, but all I know is he's extremely productive, has tackled well for the most part the whole year. Tackled well. The thing that was missing was the ball production, and the last few weeks that's come to life, and we hope it continues.
How much with him, it's like obviously a blessing, but like he can play in the box. You're not going to really get your hands on the ball as much there, and then you put him in the post and he makes a play. Like, you have to probably balance where you want to use him, obviously, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about earlier, is the interchangeability of the two safeties. Provides us like some weapons and ways to use guys and ways to make it hard on offense to figure out which, like, we don't have one guy who can blitz at safety. We don't have one guy who can play deep at safety. We have two blitzers, two guys who can play deep, two guys who have range, two guys who can cover the tight end. Like, so for us, and Wink wants that in the system, interchangeable pieces. And so it gives Wink a lot to play with. A lot of fun toys, and they both are playing really well, actually.
I think it's just been a consistent process, as we've talked throughout the course of the season, and him staying true to the process and understanding that, getting a little bit better every single day and stacking those days one on top of another, and then going out and performing in the game. And confidence is a result of demonstrated performance. I've said that before, and you go out there and you produce like that for your team and make an impact in a way that helps your team win a game. I think obviously gives a young man, a rookie player, a lot of confidence moving forward.
Have you seen his confidence grow? Like, can you almost tangibly say, since you met him, you've seen it grow?
Well, I think that he's a confident player to begin with. I guess maybe another way to answer is I never saw it shaken.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then he just went to work, kept his head down and rolled up his sleeves and continues to do so, despite the fact that human nature would say, okay, well, maybe I've arrived, I've figured this thing out, and nothing has changed in our routine.
How much more is there for him to grow? Like, when you think of a finished product per se, I know that might not really be what you would say, but how much does he have still left?
Well, I think that we're trying to figure that out, right?
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't want to put a ceiling on him, but obviously pleased with the direction that he's going, and love the young man, love his work ethic, the kind of teammate that he is. And then he's continued to be throughout the course of the year, whether it's been going good for him or it's been a week where, he probably was disappointed in the fact that he didn't make that kind of an impact for one reason or another, whatever they might have been. He's been the same guy every day. And those guys usually enjoy a lot of success.
Is there anything to the idea that Tommy's a rookie, he's a rookie? They seem to kind of have
I don't know about that. I think maybe it's just kind of that time in the year where rookies have been around long enough, and it's like, okay, we're kind of starting to figure out what it really means to play in the NFL. Maybe their growth process and maturity is kind of coincided with one another. So hopefully they can continue that continuity.
Just one more, if I may, about Isaiah. And I've asked Dabes about this, but his playing time obviously is very different this year than it was last year. You guys had a more successful season last year, so the unsophisticated football person in me says,
"Oh, stop!" With all that humbleness.
Put him out there. Give him a chance like he had last year. Yeah. But where has Isaiah been this season from your standpoint?
Again, he's another guy. With everybody in the room, they've done everything that we've asked them to do. Some weeks their role was bigger than others. And, all those guys have been very accepting, and we talk all the time of just dominating your role, whatever that might be, each and every week. And you see him last week go in there and step up on a big third down, break a tackle, and get in the end zone and make a great play.
Yeah.
And you could argue that's the play that won us the game. It certainly was in that conversation, and he's ready when his number's called. And I think that that's one of the things that makes him valuable for us.
I would say there's the most consistency, because this is what the second or third week where the lineup has been the same. So yeah, I'd have to say that, because we lead the league in most lineups. So yeah, so 2 to 3 weeks in a row would probably be the most consistent.
What has Tyree brought?
Obviously there was some familiarity. Obviously he was here last year. He was here during training camp. Tyree is a good person and a good football player, so he's brought some, it's not like you have to learn somebody, he has to learn us, and we have to learn him. It's brought as much continuity as possible in the situation.
I know, it wouldn't be your final call, but why did he get cut? It surprises at the time, and then he comes back and he's played well.
I coached him, and personnel people make decisions, and they ask us for our evaluations, and that'd be something you'd have to ask the people that make the cuts. So,
how big is there's nothing you can do about injuries, but how big is the lost developmental time for Evan Neal?
I believe Joe touched on it. It's huge. Anytime you take a young guy who's already missed a lot of reps from the year before, and then you go now the second year in a row he's missed a lot of reps, you can't get those back. And that's it's a lot. But I know he's working hard to try to get back from the rehab standpoint, but he's still missing a lot of reps, and we'll just have to catch him up the fastest we can when he comes back.
You're an offensive line coach. I'm not. Joe's not. He was pretty adamant, I guess is the word, that Evan's a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
There have been people other coaches, outside analysts, who think he's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see him?
Well, first, let me start by saying I have not had any other coaches or analysts tell me that he's a guard. So I would like to know who feels that way, and then they can explain to me why they feel that way.
So
which everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their right to an opinion. I know he played a year of guard, I believe, at Alabama. He played tackle more. He was drafted as a tackle. I would just be curious as to why people think, since somebody struggled to tackle, why they'd all of a sudden be a better guard.
I think I'm not an expert.
We'll do it formally like this. I'll pose you the question. In your opinion, why would you think, not saying that you do think that, why would you think he'd be a better guard?
I don't know, but I think that, let me say this right, I think that the people who think that, think
I love
that because things happen, there's less
space.
Yes, inside.
And thus things happen even faster.
Yeah.
Because there's less space to react to it. That's the flip side of the coin that nobody ever really talks about. And that's something I learned from Mike Tice, who I worked with in the Raiders, who was a long-time line coach and a long-time player in the NFL. He goes, that's a common misconception is, there's less space to cover. Well, things also happen a lot faster because they're having in a smaller area. So, right now, he hasn't played enough tackle in the bigger body of work to say that he can't play tackle. So that's where I guess that's where my thought process is. He doesn't have enough body of work at tackle to say he's not a tackle. So let's give him the time and opportunity, which is part of that's him being healthy, to prove that he can't. Let's not automatically assume somebody can't because they don't have the body of work. Let's give him the chance to prove that he can. And he's got to. I got to coach better. He's got to play better. And that goes to a lot of guys. So I just hope he gets back soon so that we can give him some opportunities.
The thing I would say is it's not unheard of though. And Giants fans would look at Eric Flowers, top 10 pick, big guy like Evan, struggled to tackle, went in and became a serviceable guard. So I think that's also you at least understand that there have been instances where
I get the logic. I could pick an even better one. What was the guy's name that came out of Iowa way back when? Robert Gallery, who was he was a first-round draft pick at tackle, busted, did not have a good career as tackle, and turned around and had a second career as a guard and was a good guard. I'll go even further. Tony Mandrich did the exact same thing. Now, his career wasn't as great as a guard, but he had a serviceable career, as you said, as a guard when he came back. I would just say this. If you draft a guy in the first round as a tackle, you move him to guard, is anybody be happy with a serviceable guard? No, you give him the opportunity to put the body of work that he can or cannot do something that he was drafted to do. It's not unheard of, but I guess my thing is just let's give him the opportunity to have the body of work. All right, I know right now we want him to be better. He wants to be better. He's got to have the opportunities to be better. And like I said, he's got to get healthy so that he can stay on the field so that he can have those opportunities.